Whether you've been teaching for 40 years or this is your first year, you know that routines and procedures are probably the most important thing you can set up for the school year. Your classroom will live or die by the systems that you create, and it's incredibly important to make sure you get it right. So whether you need a refresher or this is your first time and you're feeling super overwhelmed, I'm going to walk you through how to quickly and easily set up your routines and procedures. There's an easy 4-part framework that I like to use when thinking about my routines and procedures. The first is define, the second is simplify, the third is teach and reinforce, and the fourth is observe and adapt. I am a list making person. So when I am defining my routines and procedures, I like to list everything out. I start by thinking through my day, my schedule. What do I need to do? What are my students going to do? What's going to happen at this time? What areas of my classroom am I going to interact with or my students going to interact with? And I start listing out all of the routines and procedures I think I will need as I go throughout my day. You also want to think about the things that your students are going to be doing regularly. So that's transitioning to another classroom, sharpening their pencils, lining up, getting drinks, going down to lunch, all of that. Now, normally you would think, oh, good, I have all of my things listed out. I'm good to go. I'm ready to move forward. But I want you to know that you are not quite done defining your routines and procedures yet. And this is something that is super important and super crucial. Every routine and procedure that you just defined on your list is actually made up of micro routines. Those are the small steps that are needed to complete each routine. So as you are going through and defining your routines and procedures, you need to understand that most, if not all of those, will have micro routines that work to build it up. And if your class is struggling with a routine or procedure, it could be because one of these micro routines is either off or incorrect or the students don't understand it. It may seem like second nature to us. We have better executive functioning skills. We're more developed and mature, and we are the ones that are creating the routine and procedure, so it kind of comes as second nature to us. Our students don't always have that luxury, so you have to really think through what are the smaller steps that make up this larger routine that I need to teach my students. This is an example right here that the routine is transitioning to another room. Well, if you look at it, there's actually, 3, 6, 7, 8 different micro routines involved in that big routine of transitioning. So before, the students might have to put their materials away if they're working on something else. They might have to line up quietly at the door. They have to walk quietly in a straight line without talking, keeping their hands to themselves. When they get to the room, they wait at the door, they follow the teacher in, and they sit down quietly. And really, if you needed to, you could break these down even more to help make sure that every process in your classroom is fully defined and your students know exactly what to expect. Here is another one. So the routine is, we're going to do math centers. Well, there's a lot of micro routines before, during, and after that your students need to be aware of. I'm not going to read it all, but you can pause and take a screenshot. Same thing here. Here's another one. These are just some of the possible micro routines that you might need to be thinking about when you are making your lists. Now, I go into this a lot more in my free webinar, which I will link to, that you can take. There's a certificate of completion and PD credit and all of that. But this video is already getting long, so I'm going to kind of shorten it up. So the next thing you want to do is simplify. And simplify just means making sure that you're cutting out any extra steps and you're also putting it in kid-friendly language in simple terms so that, they understand and can complete the task, right? This is a good example. This is a pack and stack anchor chart. It walks them through exactly what they need to do before dismissal. It rhymes. It's short, sweet, to the point. There's little check boxes. This is a good way to simplify. Anchor charts are always a good thing. Another way to simplify is to hang up posters that just have exactly what students need to do so they know, I come in here, I hang up my backpack and find my seat, I start on my morning work, I make my lunch choice, whatever it is, and in whatever order you want it to be. Just having posters up so kids can refer back to it. Not only does that make them more independent and give them a little bit more confidence in what they're doing, it also cuts down on interruptions to you. And the last one that I'm going to talk about in this video is simplify. Go through, make sure, do I have any extra steps, any extra routines and procedures that I can cut out? Is there a way I can make it more kid-friendly language? Is there a way that I can teach these micro routines so that my students aren't confused? Go through, simplify. All right, I'm going to talk about the next step, which is teach and reinforce, in the next video. There are a ton of ideas I'm going to rapid fire at you, so get ready to screenshot and save.